Nacho Average Tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Nacho Average Tabletop. I'm Zach,
And I'm Pepper.
and today we're going to talk about our top 10 games that we're excited for in 2024. Or
Yes.
at least for also, at least mine. I hope they're going to be in 2024. Some of them may or may not. I'm more confident in some than others, I would say.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, these are listed on Board Game Geek. I believe all of mine were as 2024 releases
Yep.
or
Yep.
2024 date. So we were expecting that, but yes. So Cult of the New video, but definitely, I know. I think there's just so many games these days, and there's a good chance most of these won't probably be as good as we're expecting or hoping.
Yeah.
But
If
there
if
are.
we might have to look back at this at the end of the year. We should probably do that. Make a note to do that and see one how many actually released, how much we actually played, and if so, how many actually made our top games of the year. I would be surprised if half of them we ended up actually playing, especially if half or so, five or so, made our top games of the year. That would be very surprising to me because
I would be pretty surprised too.
it is so hard to tell what's going to be good.
It really is. It really is. But
But
yeah, so
a very consistent publisher can really help you out, and you have gone with that for your kind of first group of picks.
that's true. I had to do that. I definitely had to do that. But yeah, and speaking of that publisher, there are some of that publisher's games in our top 60 games of all time, which you can definitely check out. That is for sure games that have been released and we do like. So if you don't like Cult of the New, you can go check those out and kind of get a cult of the really good games. But
Yes.
and right here, this first one, first kind of group, I
So
would say.
you kind of have three here. So there are two more
Yes.
announced from Garfield Games, but they are listed as 2025 games. But if they were 2024, I'm sure they would be in your list as well.
Yes. So yeah, I just grouped all these together. I'm hoping last year, kind of the new to me ones were the other two South Tigris games,
Yeah.
the two in that trilogy. I got, I think, the one at the beginning of the year and the one at the end of the year, and I really liked both of those. So I'm hoping this year will be no different. So there's a chance that I could end up liking Inventors of the South Tigris, and then there was Ezra and Nehemiah, um, which the Kickstarter already ran. The Inventors one has not yet. So I'm guessing this one will be kind of midsummer, hopefully. Um, and then actually, this other one's supposed to deliver in a week. So we'll see if it does or not. Um, but it's at least in the, what is it, the final stages of shipping out.
Oh, yep.
It's in their hands right now. It's in the warehouses, ready to ship. So
Yeah.
shipwrights of the North Sea. So hopefully I'll like some of these. I tend to like Garfield games, so yeah, I'm hoping one of these. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be shocked if at least one would make my top 10.
Yeah, I think these ones are pretty safe for you, just even as they have gotten more complicated and possibly pushed some others away from their games. You are just eating them up more now than ever before.
Yes. But they've already got so many great ones that you can
They,
already probably go check out and probably get a pretty reasonable price. So,
those are good picks. So you kind of started off and cheated here with
I
three
did.
games. So I see your three, and I raise you four.
Oh boy.
I was like, okay, I have a lot of things I want to mention here. Some that I didn't think quite qualified because they were somewhat sequels, even though they are standalone. And kind of one of those would be the Marvel United multiverse, which we backed a lot of that.
Yeah.
There is a base game or more than one base game within this, but to us, it pretty much is an expansion. But I am very excited to dive into it and get to play mix and match all of those. Marvel United is a great system for that.
Yep.
And another one from the same publisher, come on, Kundalini or Not, also an expansion, but standalone. More Cthulhu Death May Die, one of our favorite games of all time. Looking forward to that. And a straight sequel, Legacy, Clank Legacy 2. A no-brainer. This has been most anticipated for years before it even announced.
Yes.
Just waiting to finally get this one. And although I'd say that what they've shown on the Kickstarter hasn't excited me overly.
Mhm.
I don't know. Hopefully, they are just keeping the secrets and different ways to mix it up. Where even if it is pretty much doesn't really do anything that crazy, I'm going to enjoy it quite a bit. But
Mhm.
hopefully, they can have a few surprises in there. Then I would say Gloomhaven, Buttons and Bugs, new version of Gloomhaven. All of these feel like safe picks because they're a version of a game I've already played, but all of these I'm very excited. I cannot wait to see how they turn Gloomhaven into just a tiny game, tiny version of itself. And as it is a game that is hard to get to the table, hopefully this makes it a lot more approachable.
Yeah, I would agree. I think those are all solid picks. When I was coming up with my list, I did not include Cthulhu Death May Die or Marvel United because those ones I think for sure felt more like kind of additional content.
Yeah.
And then Clank Legacy, I did have on my list. We kind of went over our list a little bit together.
Yeah.
So this one wasn't technically on my list, but
Yeah.
it is one I'm very excited about, and I would consider that a little different than
Yeah, that is
kind of the
definitely,
other ones.
I think, the most different.
Right. But otherwise, some solid picks. So we've already got 7 in our 20.
Yes. Yeah, we should have 2, but we got 7. But I don't care. I don't follow the rules. I'm excited for them. They're coming out this year. I probably shouldn't group them all together, but oh well. And you're also grouping a couple together. You pulled it back quite a bit here, or at least a couple that I could find. You said the games from Karma Games, which I assume is Fiefdom and Millennia.
Yes,
Maybe.
Those are kind of the brand new ones. And I think there's going to be Peninsula as well, which is going to be more of a Verban right game. So that one would probably be on my list too. But I think these 2 are kind of the bigger ones that I'm more excited about. And also a Clans of Caledonia expansion, which is exciting. But that again, I would count as an expansion as opposed to the base. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. The only thing I wasn't excited about, but I think it might work out, is just the fact that the way they're doing their Kickstarters, they're kind of running them all individually. So they ran a Thiefdom one already, they ran a Millennial one already, and now they're going to, I think, in the next month or so, run the Kickstarter for the expansion, and then they're going to group all the pledge managers together. So there hasn't been a pledge manager for any of them yet, and then also offer that Peninsula one in that, and you can kind of like combine all your stuff. I think it makes the shipping pretty cheap, and these were all pretty reasonably priced games, which was also a really exciting part with how crazy Kickstarter has gotten. But yeah, these were, I think, kind of a Civ game, and then kind of a I don't even know what I'd call the other one. I was gonna say hidden movement, but it's not really hidden. But you're moving around a board and trying to do things. It just seemed kind of cool.
Yeah, kind of sneaking around.
And I really love Clans.
Yeah, me too. Surprisingly, even though it's a pretty heavy game, I do enjoy Clans quite a bit. So looking forward to, maybe not Millennia, but I am looking forward to Thiefdom.
No tracks? Come on, man.
Look at that. The whole board is tracks. It's tracks surrounded by a score track. But there's a lot of games with a lot of tracks that I do enjoy quite a bit.
Yeah.
On to our first single entry in here. It's from me, and this one is Flock Together. And we covered this one. We probably covered a lot of these on our Take My Money series throughout the last year, and now they'll finally deliver in 2024. But I saw this on some other people's anticipated games lists, and it just brought back the excitement when I first saw that promo video on the crowdfunding page with all these puns for these animals being these warriors defending their home. And it's like, what do you have? Sherlock Holmes. And it's just
there were a lot of good ones.
character that the game has, which on initial look at the cover, I'm like, okay, here's another nature themed game with Andrew. Bosley artwork. This isn't going to be
Mhm.
anything special, but just the wackiness that they added in that trailer hopefully follows through to the gameplay. I think some of the Dice Tower crew had actually played the game and it was still on their list. So that definitely has me excited that there is actually a good game behind it as well.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. That definitely got me. I felt the same way until I saw that video. That was pretty awesome.
And you go on to another kind of bird themed game for your number, whatever this would be. 8, I believe.
8. Yes. Yeah, that's true. It's kind of bird themed in a way, but that is Wormspan from Stonemaier Games. And this one I was debating as well because it kind of is a redone version of Wingspan, but it's definitely got some changes that seem like they'll be significant enough to make it feel different. I think.
Yeah.
And
We talked about this one on a video, so check out that video. We're probably going to mention a lot of videos, so we may not link them all below, but we definitely put our thoughts out there. It does look very similar, but I was thinking that I think it's going to separate itself enough to justify owning both. Not that you won't have a favorite. I think they are. You may prefer one, but I think you could be in the mood for different ones at different times.
Yeah, I agree. And this one, I'm pretty confident is going to come out here in this less than a month.
If this does not come out in 2024,
then I don't have much hope for the rest of them.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah, and I think for the Karma Games one, that was like December, so that was one I wasn't really sure because, like I said, they're combining all of them, so I don't know how that's going to end up working. Hopefully, it'll all go smooth and it'll work out. But with the way that they're doing it, I've never seen someone do it that way before. Hoping that'll deliver. But yeah, the Wormspan is going to just be sold from the Stonemaier website and then go straight to retail. So this one should be in the first quarter of 2024. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what this one offers. Like I said, we've got a video discussing it in a very long form, so you can check that out.
Yes. Let's talk about games that we don't know anything about. Wondrous Creatures, which this one was also, I think, pretty high on some people's anticipated list, other YouTubers, board game YouTubers. And I thought this one might actually make your list, mostly because it has some pretty awesome screen printed meeples. Ooh, a ton of them for the different players. And you are putting them out onto the map, which made me think of Whistle Mountain. I don't think it's quite as rewarding as that, but you kind of put them onto some of these playing spaces and produce resources that are adjacent to them, and then spend resources to gain these different cards, spending resources over here. These really remind me of Everdell cards and kind of their layout, and maybe it's just the design of the card that makes it look that way, but this just gave me the feel of that, and gaining different bonuses at the bottom, which isn't like that groundbreaking, but just the overall table presence of this one put it on my mind. It stayed on my mind, and I knew I had to put it on the list because I was starting to get really excited about it.
Yeah, I maybe didn't. I know I heard people bring this one up too and watching some of their videos, but I think just I must not have really been paying too much attention once I saw the cover. Because to me, I guess that cover kind of a turnoff. But the game looks way different than the cover, so unfortunately doing it a disservice. So
yeah,
it looks more like a book to me than a board game.
It does look like a book.
So I kind of throwing me off a little bit, but yeah, I do. That does look pretty interesting.
And another bird-themed game.
Oh boy, birds. Although I think this one might be a little bit more take that birds, possibly. I think it has a little bit of that in it. Yeah, this one was one that wasn't really on my radar until we did one of our take my money things, and then learned about it a little bit more. And this is from the people that brought us Earth, which was probably one of the biggest hits from the last year, I would say. And yeah, there's just something about the stacking of the birds, putting the birdhouse on them, having lightning strike the birds and moving them in places and stuff. And The cards scoring differently, so like some you didn't really want as many on there or whatever. Something I think they had different point scoring systems and stuff, and it just something about it seemed really fun. I don't know. It's kind of crazy to me because yeah, at first I was like, I don't know about this, but then something just felt like it hooked me in. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's the stacking of those birds. I don't know. But
Yeah, I remember we went through this, and I'm like, this is looking really, really cool. And then you drop the bomb that you had actually backed it. I was very delightfully surprised. Yeah, I had forgotten kind of how that actually worked with the stacking and the scoring, and instead I knew it was coming, and I thought it might be on your list, so decided not to look at it too closely because I do want to be surprised and get into that game pretty fresh when it does finally arrive, hopefully this year.
right, yeah. I don't remember when all these are supposed to arrive, but in my head I'm thinking sometime around the summer of this year, but I guess we'll find out. Probably all depends on how things go, but
Yeah,
I'm excited.
as it does. On to me. This is a game that I just screenshotted the cover when I saw. Sometimes you'll see something coming up later this year. That's all you'll have as a cover, and I really, really enjoyed the look of this one and screenshotted it a long time ago, back in like September. And I'm like, okay, I got to keep my eye on that. Apparently, it got away from me because I think this did have its campaign, and the Pledge Manager isn't quite open yet, but just from the look of it, Queen's New Capital, pretty cool name. Love the cover, and looking at more of the artwork, which I believe they said AI generated artwork, which some people are fans of that, some not fans of that. I think it, at least from the look of it, looks really cool and kind of makes me feel like some stop motion movies. Like we watched Del Toro's Pinocchio, and this one was giving me feelings of that, especially with these characters, because it just feels actually real. And I don't really get that feel from a lot of games, especially from the artwork. Some miniatures can have that, but to have that in the artwork was pretty cool. And it looks like it's probably going to be a pretty simple game. The cards don't have that much to them, just a few different symbols, a few tracks. So hoping this one is pretty approachable. Don't know that much about it, but yeah, looking forward to trying this one just based on that cover.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I don't know. Somehow this one went by and just totally missed it, but yeah, it looks good. Even though that's the prototype edition.
Yes. And here's the final edition.
Yes. This one's Flatiron, which is just a really interesting looking building that's in New York. And yeah, just something, I feel like that's a really great name, and I love the artwork on this one. I love the cover. I don't know what it is about it, but I just really like the cover quite a bit. And this is from the same people that designed or did Red Cathedral and White Castle, which I know that one. I haven't tried that one yet, but that one I know has been very popular. I think those both go up to 4 players though, and at least 4. And this one only looks like it goes 1 to 2. So I'm interested to see kind of what this one will do. But I have no reason to believe that it won't be hopefully pretty good.
That one.
I don't know if this one. Hopefully, this one's going straight to retail because I guess if it is being crowdfunded, then I don't know if it'll get here because, I don't. It hasn't been yet. So
yeah, there's not much information as to how the game is played. The only image that I see here is the cover, which is very cool. But yeah, I did not know until just now that is 1 to 2 players. That for some reason makes the game more interesting. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's true. I actually I actually didn't know until I just saw it right now too, and I was like, wait a minute, that one's even only 1 to 2 players. That actually, adds like another layer to it because then it's like, this is specifically designed to kind of play at 2,
like
which
it could be like the game was so broken they just could not get it to work at 3 and 4, so it could be a negative. But the mind immediately goes to Bruno Catala and Seven Wonders Duel, Splendor Duel, Masterpieces. for me.
Exactly. I mean, this is going to be right up there with that.
Yes. And
And
another one where I really only know the cover of the game is Incubo, however you would say it, and the theming: a boy and his cat fight their nightmares to save their sister in an oniric adventure. So, sounds interesting. A boy and a cat, two-player game, teaming up. And I looked at the mechanisms for cooperative, deck construction, multi-use cards, and push your luck. And that one just sounds like it's going to be some creative use of cards, using them cooperatively. We've played a couple cooperative trick-taking games. This doesn't say trick-taking, but it's given me feelings of things like that. Fox in the Forest Duet and The Crew, which I enjoy those for their cooperative nature, and I'm hoping this can add something to that as well.
yeah, I
Don't know much
this
about
is
it.
another one that cover didn't immediately pull me in, but that does sound interesting. I do like when you're working together using cards in multi-use ways. It's always interesting. So yeah, hopefully that'll be good. I can't tell. I don't know if you have it. Do you have another? Do you have a dual game in here?
A dual game. I don't remember. I don't think
Okay,
so.
you would have known if I said that. So I'll add this to my other one, and we don't actually have this pulled up, I don't think, but that is Quacks the
Oh,
Duel.
yes. Yes.
So I'm excited for that.
There is that in here. Yes. The duel. I did see that one. I'm like, I kind of want to throw that in there. Probably should have thrown that in my sequels list, but yes, that one is a pretty. I don't know, because I'm like, I like Quack so much, can't possibly
Yeah.
top it, especially if they
Then you
aren't.
need to buy more chips, probably.
Yeah, if they aren't bringing on Bruno Catala, I don't know how
Right.
good it can possibly be. But it is still Wolfgang Warsch, who did the original, so it's not like this is
Mhm.
just a cash grab, hopefully.
Right.
So I am pretty
Yeah,
excited
I'm
for
excited.
that as well. But not as excited as you are for Gnome Hollow.
Yes. So I didn't know anything about this one until I started looking at it, and there was something simple about it. It was just the creating kind of mushroom groups or like kind of chain groups of tiles that made me think of Explorers of the North Sea a little bit.
Yep.
And then you kind of get all the mushrooms of those colors, and then eventually there's like a marketplace kind of thing where you can kind of turn them in, but you don't want to wait too long because there's like you can sell like four of them, five of them, six of them, or something at a time. But once someone does that, no one else can sell that many. And obviously, the more you sell, the more points you get. Uh, so you're wanting to get up there, but at the same time, if someone else has those six blue mushrooms or mushrooms or whatever before you, it's kind of that, I don't know, push your luck a little bit. But then otherwise, a lot of the other things seemed relatively simple. So I think this one will be a nice, approachable game. And I just like kind of the look of a lot of the wooden components on there as well, and the chips. So
Yeah,
um,
that
hoping
looks
this
pretty
will be
cool.
solid.
Why is everything about mushrooms? This is the year of the mushroom.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know,
Yeah, I
but
didn't actually look into kind of the gameplay of it, which is probably good. I didn't look into the gameplay of too many of them, because I did end up having like 50 on my short list just based on cover. And if I went into them more deeply, I think I would have had a lot harder time as deciding what makes the cut and what doesn't. This one actually looks pretty good. You know, the designer, if they've done, I guess I gotta look.
yeah, I don't think they did any of the ones I knew of.
Hmm.
So
So
yeah, you
interesting.
never know then. But
On to a game
hopefully,
not about mushrooms that I
oh
know
boy,
of, but a game that I thought was out already, because I heard about it, I think, before we even started doing Take My Monies, and that was
before we were even
Divinus.
in the board game hobby, probably.
Yeah, this is like 7 years ago. Um, but this is Divinus from Lucky Duck Games, and I think it's kind of a campaign game where you have tiles and are building it out, which initially makes me think of Carcassonne, and it's a weight of like 2.5, so pretty approachable, hopefully, and incorporates what Lucky Duck Games does very well with Chronicles of Crime and Destiny's kind of app integration where you can scan certain things on the game and they will give you more information, give you story bits and maybe decisions to make. And it looks like this one has that as well. So you can just scan tiles. You don't even have to scan like code or anything, which I thought was really cool. And didn't initially go in on it, but just as seeing that it's still out there and still coming, I'm just like, yeah, I'm still pretty interested in this one. So maybe, I guess I'll have to look at the prices. Maybe I'll have to try to pick up a copy somewhere.
Oh boy. Yeah, this one, I really like the look of it. I don't remember. Yeah, it has been such a long time.
I thought there
I
was
don't
some
remember if it
reason.
just looked a little too light, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't remember why. Because, yeah, I really like the look of it. And when before it was
Customizing
coming out-
dice. Customizing dice, something we've wanted ever since Dice Forge.
Yes. So, yeah, I think there are a lot of things that I was excited about and wanting it before it came out, but then there was something that I just ended up not. I don't know if it was maybe the price point and maybe it felt a little too light for the price point. I don't remember. But yeah, this one looks really good. Oh boy. Now we got this game, which Pepper probably has no interest in, but
Solo bag building. I mean, that's got to get me interested.
it really does. So hopefully you are. I'm not really sure how to say it. Conservus? Conservus? I'm not really sure. But yeah, it was actually like something I was just thinking. I was like, oh, that'd be cool if there was like I don't know if that's exactly how the game plays, but it says bag building, and it looks like there may be some fish involved. I was just thinking to myself, like, that'd be really cool because I've always kind of wanted a fishing game. And then I was like, if you just had them in like a bag, I wonder if you could make some cool fishing game based around like you go out to certain parts and dig something out of a bag or something. Could make it interesting. So this is hopefully maybe that, but I didn't really look exactly kind of how it's played, if that is what the bag is for, or if that's involved in another way. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I'm not really a solo gamer, but something about this and those chips and stuff, pulling out of bags is always fun. So I'm hoping this will be a solid game. And since it's a solo one, I'm hoping and maybe it looks like it's a little smaller, so maybe it'll be a little bit cheaper or more on the affordable side. Is my hope, but it looks solid.
I'm looking forward to trying this one. I love bag building, love solo. So I don't know what the weight. I guess I don't have the weight here for it, but and Scott Alms, he did the Tiny Epic series of games. I played one of those. I thought that was pretty fun. So yeah, I'm interested in it. Mildly.
Did he also do Claim?
Let's see. Scotty boy, where are you?
He did Beer and Bread, Pepper.
Oh, Beer and Bread. That's the other one. And he did do Claim. You're right. Yeah, so he's got some good games in our collection.
Yeah.
Speaking
this will be another
great game that will be in our collection.
This is another one that seems like it should already be out.
It should
one that I feel like I've seen this cover for years now.
Well, I've only seen it since we did our Andrew Bosley, whatever it is. I always mix it up with the men's, like hair, dye, shaving, whatever. Okay. Bosley, I forget which one it is. Sorry, Andrew. But Flow is art by him, and I absolutely love this cover. Check out our artist series covering Andrew's artwork, and this one does make an appearance, and I personally rate it very highly in his covers, and that alone got me excited for this game. And I was like, I gotta add this to the collection, and it wasn't out yet, so then I had to kind of wait to see a little more about it. And the board, I don't know, it looks pretty basic from a game, just a bunch of spots on the board, different cards to probably buy or fulfill, but hopefully nothing too overly complicated. And it looks very beautiful throughout, very colorful. Nothing has turned me off of the game from my initial love of this cover. So
Yeah, that's an
I'm
amazing
excited.
cover. I've been excited for that one ever since I saw that cover, and that's why I think it feels like it's been forever. I don't know when they released this image, but I think it's been a while,
Yep.
um, at least a year plus. So that's kind of the disappointing part. But I think the only reason I didn't put this one on my list was I think the Kickstarter's at the end of February, so I was like,
Wow. Yep.
It's getting. I mean, hopefully, maybe the reason it took so long is because they maybe developed the game and got most of the almost 100% complete before the Kickstarter. Is my hope,
No. Yeah.
or Game Found, I guess. I don't know what
Yeah.
it's going to go on. So then, hopefully, they can turn around and
Yeah. I
deliver
would
it
think so. The
by the
board
end of the year.
looks pretty complete.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
hopefully, that's what was taking so long. Um, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. And a weight of 2.75, which I think that's going to be a pretty sweet spot. It's not for me personally. I don't. It starts getting into threes. I'm like, that might be a little too heavy, but definitely should have enough there to dig into.
Mhm.
And your next one is kind of another nature themed game. But what got you excited about this one versus all the others? All the other nature looking themed games that have been out in the last few years.
That is a fair question. We've got Windmill Valley. And
Gears. That's what got you excited.
yes, exactly. That was, I will say, when I first saw the cover, I'm like, I feel like I've seen this cover multiple times. I still feel like I have seen it once or twice already. But then, yeah, once I saw the gears and what it is, like at first when I see this, I'm like, oh, this is probably approachable, a little bit more approachable game. And then I see these gears, I'm like, wait a minute, might be a little bit more something here. And it's Board and Dice, who usually does a little bit heavier games to begin with. And this one is actually from the person that designed Barcelona, which was one of theirs last year, and I believe Arborea
Yep.
as well. So this is another going back to more of a colorful look like that one. Not quite as colorful as that one, but closer. And yeah, those are both Euros that I have not had the chance to try yet, but I've heard very good things about both of them. So I'm assuming this one will also be probably a pretty solid game. So definitely looking forward to it more than I initially was with the cover once I saw, yeah, those gears,
Yeah.
because obviously windmills have those gears in them and you gotta do that. I don't know exactly how it works, but when you got moving parts, you've got my attention,
Yeah,
as we
the
might see
gears,
again.
they got me a little excited about it. Board and Dice actually has a few that I do enjoy, so I'm not opposed to it.
Oh boy.
And you may be opposed to this pick because this is technically a 2020 game. But I couldn't live with myself if I didn't put it on here. This is totally cheating. And I have one to fill in its space because I am cheating. But this is one of the games that I'm most excited about delivering in 2023. And it was for 2022 and 2021 and 2020, all the way back to nearly when I was born because I've been waiting forever for this. Monumental, which backed a while back, and then pandemic, whatever, this, that, has not shipped. Looks like this should be the year, but you never know. You
Now that you
never
put it on
know.
here, it's going to be next year.
You never know, but I'm like, I've been excited about it a long time and always wanted a video where we could talk about games we're excited about in the future and games we maybe have coming. And I thought this is the best opportunity. So talking about it now, hoping this one can be one, deliver, and be one of my favorites of the year for me personally. But for one that is actually coming out this year, we've got An Age Contrived, which
Oh boy.
I don't know why. It looks, I mean, not in a bad way old, but it does look old. This looks like
Yeah.
an old version, original version of a restoration game. That's what this is giving me feels of, like original Dark Tower or something. I don't know, maybe just the way, let's see the cover. Maybe kind of the starry background kind of makes it look faded and worn from far away. Up close, it actually looks very cool and clear, but in a smaller picture, it kind of looks a little faded. I think that's why I feel that way about the cover. But yeah, this one has, I don't know as much about the gameplay as you do, I don't think, but It's got cool Azul type tiles, 3D structures that you build on the map, which I think are magnetic, I
I
believe.
believe
You can
so.
stick together and stick to the board, possibly. And then you've got kind of these player boards, which I don't even know. This could be the biggest disaster of 2024, this component. I don't know if they have
That's what I'm worried about.
a
I'm
good
wondering.
close-up picture, and I don't think these are the
No, I
actual
don't think those are
mechanical
the actual
ones.
ones.
Oh, there's one right there, up there, maybe. So
Yeah,
here's
I
a
think so.
none, and there's that one. So you have these tiles that are in here, and then I
You can
forget
like
how
launch them.
exactly it works. But they fall down below, and like, you adjust something, it falls through, and then it shoots it up into this little compartment here, which you could just take the tile out and place it there. I think.
Yes.
The
Well,
way
I
the
think
game
that's what you'd
works,
do if you had this with the
if you had the
bottom one here.
cardboard. But they decided to make this component. I don't know why. That's where they pulled the trigger on this wacky, overproduced part of the game. But that's what they decided to do. There must be a reason, and hopefully, I guess I don't know what version did you end up backing, the one with or without.
Think I got the one with, but it's been a little bit now.
So we'll
But
see.
yeah, I'm excited for this one. We'll see when it eventually gets here. I know they did a Dropbox test to see if that mechanical thing would stay together, and apparently it did not originally. So I think that delayed it a little bit. So hopefully that'll get here within the next few months. But yeah, I'm excited for this one.
Yes. So stay tuned. Subscribe to hear our thoughts on all these games that we do end up playing and end up getting videos out. Those
Yes.
videos would probably go out in 2025 because we'll have a backlog.
They'll all end up
probably in-
coming in November, December, and
That's how it works. And then here's
oh boy,
another big game, which
another
I'm gonna
big
say,
one.
does this only have 3 images? It should have more images than that.
I feel like it should have more than that.
But it does have. There we go.
And yeah, so this is coming from Luke Laurie, who you mentioned Whistle Mountain earlier. He designed that one. That one's an amazing game. And also, this is kind of a redone version. So kind of like Wormspan. So maybe I don't know. Maybe I should be more picky in my games. And I think at first I wasn't. I'm not into the space theme as much as the Dwellings of Eldervale. Um, but currently, you have our copy of that.
Yep.
So I only get to play it so often. And this is kind of a different version. I think there's a few more things, few differences and stuff. But overall, I think it has some of the core mechanics that Dwellings of Eldervale had, and I really love that game. So I'm hoping this one will be pretty solid as well. And I know Zachary really likes space, so I'm sure he will play this one with me for sure.
Yes,
I don't know if
for
you
sure.
were as excited about this one.
Yeah, it just seemed like it was a little heavier. And,
Yeah.
I was going to say Luke Laurie is one of my favorite games. Dwellings of Eldervale is one of my favorite games. And I'm like, if
Well,
it ain't broke,
sometimes he
don't
plays
fix
with
it.
power tools, so he could be.
Yes, he does. So I'm like, well, I think I'm going to prefer the lighter version. I think that probably hits it about perfect to feel grand and epic, and to still feel like it has kind of a Euro side to it with the tableau that you're building, but it's not. It doesn't distract from the coolness of the game, and hopefully this one is able to strike that balance as well.
Mhm.
But yeah,
I
I'm
would say
excited.
that's probably my biggest worry for this one and Wormspan is if they do kind of implement some new things that end up just kind of feeling like they bog down the experience a little bit and take away from what was really great in the originals. So hoping that's not the case, but obviously once they are in our hands, we'll have a chance to actually try them and let you guys know which one is better, especially if you don't own either.
Oh, yeah.
I would get so yeah. I would say if I had that Dwellings here, I probably wouldn't be getting this. At least
Yeah.
Wormspan, I'd try both, but if I was on a very tight budget, I probably would wait at least a little bit, see if people are saying what the reaction is, if they're saying it's better or not.
Yeah. Oh boy, another Bosley artwork. One from Roxley Games, and this one does also re-implement a game, but we have not played that game. so I feel a little better
Right.
putting this on here. This is Skyrise, which this is another one where I just initially first saw this cover and it's like, oh, I'm excited about this. It was from Roxley, and they have some really good games. They have the #1 game on BGG right now, Brass Birmingham, and while that's not necessarily exactly my type of game, it's a trusted publisher, at least in my
Right.
mind.
I think
And
they kind
definitely,
of I think they kind of brought back the original Brass and turned
oh
it
yeah,
into that. So
yeah,
the fact that they're kind of doing that again here in a certain way, sort of.
yes. And then once you got to see more, and you got to see all these amazing pieces, I think there's wooden pieces as well. There's a version with that. So if you aren't a fan of miniatures and like kind of wooden little meeple figures of buildings, and there's that version as well. But I thought these looked amazing. They did too. They've made 100 million images of them. But yeah, the board is kind of here, and you're bidding with your buildings, bidding for these locations on the board, which I forget exactly how it works, but yeah, they're numbered on the bottom.
Mhm.
And I think someone can bid a number at maybe this green location here, and you don't outbid them on that exact location. You outbid them and go to an adjacent location. So it just seemed very interesting that you don't exactly know what you're fighting for or what it's actually going to end up being bought in the auction. At least I think from my slight overview that I looked at, that's what I got from the bidding. And that seemed pretty unique to me, a way to do bidding and area control.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one too. This one's been one I've been watching because it feels like they were going to deliver it, and then I think just some few things. And again, few things are kind of bogging it down a little bit and getting finished and delivered. I think, but I think this one should be making it this year, and I'm excited for kind of those interesting kind of bidding mechanisms to see how that ends up feeling. And I think this will have some great presence on the table.
Yes. On to your last one here. You don't really have an order to these. You said I think I have a little more order to mine, but thought since
Mhm.
you have a little more personal history with this one, you go way back with the designer here.
Yes, and the fact that I think he's the only person that recognized us at Gen Con, which actually expected 0 people to recognize me. So the fact that there was one was pretty shocking and kind of cool in a way. Um, and yeah, that is so. It's the designer of Viticulture World, Mahir Shah, and this is a game. I didn't actually get a chance to look at it there. I was kind of just in a way starstruck a little bit. Him walking up, and I didn't even think to ask at the time. I'm sure he probably had a copy of it there, and maybe would have. I'm sure he would have wanted to share it because I think designers really, like to share their games and
Yeah,
stuff, creations. Um, but yeah, this one's been kind of one on my radar ever since I first heard of it and saw these turning mechanisms or like this turning thing, and it's got dice in there. Uh, it's colorful. It just something about it just looks really cool and really grabs my attention. I don't know. It's a huge hook for a game, and
yes.
sometimes that can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing. Sometimes it'll bring me into games that end up maybe disappointing a little bit, but um, really like Viticulture World, so I have no reason to doubt him currently. And I feel like I've heard. I think he must be very interactive with people because I feel like I've heard people bring him up and like some of his like games he suggested to them and stuff. And he likes a lot of the same games that I like, so I have reason to believe that then I'll probably like this as well. So I'm
Yeah,
hopeful,
yeah.
very
I
hopeful. I'm excited about this one.
didn't know anything about it, and the only thing I've really seen of it is these mechanisms, these gears, and that just looks really cool. It's very intriguing, and like you said, being for someone who enjoys the same games that we enjoy, uh, I'm pretty interested in this one.
Yes, but yeah, this is another one that I'm not sure. I think it's coming from Arcane Wonders, who did um, World Wonders last year. And I'm just a little bit worried that it's going to kind of be the same type of thing like that, where I think they sold like a few hundred copies at Gen Con, and then it really wasn't available until I think like December of last year, or pretty late last year. So I don't know if that's going to be the same sort of thing for this one.
Yeah.
But so it might not end up being
Oh.
next year, but at worst, 2025.
Yes, at worst. Hopefully, at worst.
Right. Yeah. And we're not going to Gen Con this year, so unfortunately, even if it is at Gen Con and there's a lot of copies, I'm not gonna be able to get my hands on it.
Well, maybe he's a big fan of the channel. Send us a prototype.
There we go.
And then my final one here is
Forgot about this one.
another one that we covered on a Take My Money.
I was really excited.
This is one that I just went back to, and I'm like, I just really, really love that cover. I think that's kind of the theme of my list. If it has a striking cover, something I really enjoy, sticks in my mind. I have to take screenshots of it and remind myself of it every now and then, check to see if it's available, and did end up back in this one, and I am really excited about this one. This is one just very beautiful, and I'm gonna have a bunch of wooden tiles, kind of little tokens for your workers on these, which I think are gonna be awesome. It's a prototype board. Where's some final board? But the board is split up into kind of different actions, different zones. Where is it? Yeah, split up into kind of, what is it, 6 different zones, and they have pretty basic kind of resource collection spots kind of on these black tiles. I don't know if there's going to be any close-up shots of it, but like right here is an action to go get 2 pink resources, and you can upgrade those spots throughout the game. You can go there and add one on top of there, not really upgrading, but replacing them. And also, the more they've been replaced throughout the game, they're worth more points at the end of the game if you do control that area. I believe I throwing around things like they're fact, but I do just have a high overview of the game, and it's card-based combat, which I think can be hit or miss with me, but there are benefits for when you lose combat as well. So I think that is always a huge benefit in any combat. So that sometimes you do want to lose.
I agree.
Just really looking forward to this one. Love the artwork. Components are looking to be very good, and just thoughts have not changed since I first saw that cover. Nothing's turned me off of the game. I've just gotten more and more excited. Hoping this one isn't as long of a wait as Monumental has been.
Yes. So you don't have the best history when you're specifically the one backing these games. So anyone who's waiting for Crown of Ash, you have one person to blame. If the longer and longer it's delayed. If it, I don't know if it is delayed. I have not been keeping track of this one, so I don't know where it's currently at.
Pretty good so far.
But if it does get delayed,
yep, blame me. I will
everyone,
take all the blame,
including the publisher, can blame you. What did you do to them? Yeah, I didn't realize you were that excited about this one. It's probably not my favorite artwork, but I think when we talked about it, I remember thinking it was at least interesting. So I'm hoping to try this one as well. So
and it stands out, I think, the most to some of the other ones. A lot of them are in a series of games or from a publisher that we know, like Roxley. And this one, I just really do feel like, okay, this is something new. Don't know the designer, publisher. I think they're newer. They might have had some work before. I'm not sure, but it's not safe. It's not a safe pick, but it's exciting.
Yeah, good pick. But yeah, that's all of our.
Those are the only good games coming out this year.
Yes. Yes. I'm guessing there's going to be a lot that end up coming out. A lot of them that no one even knows of yet. Yeah. I would not be surprised.
I wrote it down just as a division that Azul 5 that comes out. That's going to be on my list probably. So
Azul Legacy.
There you go.
I would not be surprised because I think there's been an Azul like every year or so, and I don't think there was one. I mean, when was the Chocolatier version? Was that 2 years ago already now?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Was Azul Mini last year, or was that 2 years too? I don't remember, but it wasn't. I don't think a brand new one. last year, so
No.
we'll
I guess,
see.
yeah. When was Ticket to Ride Legacy announced? That was last year.
Yeah,
Announced and released. So I mean, there's hope.
yes. I hope so. We will see. But yeah, let us know in the comments below if there's any games you're looking forward to in 2024, especially Azul 5 confirmed. No. Uh, yeah, let us know if any of these look exciting to you as well. But otherwise, if you've made it this far in the video, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or subscribe so you can hear our future content when we eventually do get these games. And then maybe next year, like you said, we'll have to come back and look at this, see what all did not end up even delivering in 2024, and which ones we liked, which ones we didn't like of the ones we do play.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we hope to see you on our future videos. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on our content.